Hello everybody, this is Gabriel. So this is a trend scan for this week. Today is Monday, and let's have a look here at the US equity market. So we see this big spike, the big bar, the big red bar, the spike down, and we get a big bar up. But as we can see, we find now here resistance at the 21 and as well the 8 moving average. So price is kind of is right now a little bit fighting with these moving averages from below. Like the quarter, that looks different, right? So we see this wick. So actually this was only a test of 21 and the 8 is holding. So we get kind of a positive signal from the quarterly that we're seeing new highs, and we see some struggle here with the moving averages with both on the monthly, and well, obviously the weekly doesn't look good, right? So price bounces back. That's a huge dead cat bounce. It bounces back into this price resistance area. It has tested the 200 and now it's bouncing back, and as well here we can see how price just comes back to the moving averages and it finds resistance, support and resistance from the 21 and support from the 8. So it's kind of in a neutral position, slightly negative, bearish. We see on the daily where we're getting close to the 200, which is resistance too. So I'm rather seeing here a bearish I've got a bearish bias, but well, as we know that the Corona crisis is getting things are getting better and better, right? There's even talk about a new remdesivir, I think it's called, that is a cure for Corona patients. So yeah, you never know what happens. So we can clearly see this was a strong sell-off. We see an equally strong recovery. What can always happen is that this recovery makes new highs, right? I don't believe so. I think we see at least a test of the lows, and let's see how that develops. Yeah, it's kind of these are sideways, right? The 240 is sideways, kind of the daily is sideways. So I'm not very keen on trading US equities for now. Let's have a look here at gold. So gold is obviously very strong, as we know. Here on the quarterly chart, this acts as a magnet now. The last high, slightly below 2000. This is a magnet, and this, well, the power of the move comes out of the turtle pattern, the monthly turtle. Clearly, we're very nice here. The weekly moving averages are respected. We're even in an EMA trend still. So that was we have no crossover, right? On the daily, well, we've broken out of this sideways consolidation, but price was not able to actually break away. So we're kind of here in an indecisive decision. But with an EMA trend up and everything, so gold looks pretty bullish. Silver is a little bit different because it had such a strong sell-off here, right? So that kind of this could be seen as a test bar, either on the monthly or on the quarterly. Well, in order for it to be a failed test bar, obviously it needs to go higher, and currently it's meeting strong resistance, strong per price resistance. So it might get rejected here. It might make a new low and a second leg down, or if it re-breaks, well, then we might actually see a stop run around these levels. There are really nice stop run levels clustered, and it could catch up with gold because it's basically lagging. Now let's have a look at copper, because copper is very sensitive to depressions. And we talked about that before, like during last week, I think it was, that this important level on the monthly is not broken, it's just testing. And we actually need to see this to break lower in order to get an idea that there's a very bad impact on the economy. This might still happen, but currently it's sitting on the 200. Well, that's just, it's a very slow recovery here. It's kind of a pullback in the overall downtrend. Let's have a look at crude. Crude had this sell-off to the $6.50 level down here, and well, heavily overextended, obviously, on all those time frames. And there should be a snapback to the moving averages, and it's working on doing that. So on the daily, first, well, we found resistance at the 8, bouncing off, and now we're at the 21. Once it can get beyond the 21, we might actually see some momentum to develop into the $40 area. So it's kind of the goal is here the 35-40 area, And if it does, well, it will offer really good trading opportunities long on lower time frames. So this is already in an EMA trend. I ignore these quick crossovers. So this is in an EMA trend. So we can look out for patterns here on on the 5-minute chart. Well, this should actually break higher. This should break this this level, and if it breaks higher, well, then ideally we get a nice pattern, an S1 or an S2. So natural gas has been very volatile during the last weeks. We can see it here, very volatile, up down, up down. Overall, it's clearly down, and it can go much lower, as we have seen in crude oil. Like, things can go really low. As low as you would have never imagined it could go. So natural gas is kind of stuck here in sideways, in volatile sideways. Although we are in an EMA, still in an EMA trend down, but volatile. So I'm not very keen on trading this type of chart structure. So if you look here at the US dollar index, as well, it's in an EMA trend. We have had this big up and big down, but still it respects the 8 and the 21 moving average. It's kind of here bouncing off, kind of sideways, and it's trying to find a direction. And we know that this is the very important level here, breaking the high, and then it's the 100 index point level. So it's fighting with this level. If this level gets broken, well, then there's free territory, and it can go much higher in a very short time. So we're kind of still stuck here at an important resistance level, and we need to get over that. Basically, we need to break here to a new intermediate high on the daily. Otherwise, it's not really that interesting, except very low time frames. So this is in an EMA trend, the 15-minute. So we could look out here, what's going on here, right? That's a gecko type, sure, there are also opportunities even on a lower time frame. So that's it. Thank you.